Okay, so if you haven't figured it out from the title of the video or the thumbnail, I'll just say it right here. This video is going to contain major spoilers for the ending of Infinity War. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want to be spoiled for it, go see it right now because it's a great film, and then come back here. Basically, if you haven't seen Infinity War, you're wasting your time being here. So just click off this video and go do something else. Okay, now we've got that out of the way. I am assuming I'm talking to people who have seen Infinity War and are well aware of what happens at the end with everybody, well not everybody, but half the world's population dying. So, what does this mean for the MCU in general? Well, I think most people pretty much agree that probably everybody that we see disintegrate at the end of Infinity War is coming back at some point. For one thing, they have already confirmed another Spider-Man film which takes place after Avengers 4, and they've also already confirmed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I don't know why they call them volumes. And the only one of the Guardians that is left at the end of Infinity War is Rocket. Can't really do Guardians of the Galaxy without Star-Lord, at the very least. So I think it's a pretty safe bet that they're coming back as well. But as to how they're going to come back, and maybe if there's going to be some kind of sacrifice, remains to be seen. That's kind of the interesting thing. Also, bit more up in the air is sort of Loki. I'm pretty sure is dead because they've already brought him back from the dead once. So they're not going to do it again. Gamora, I'm not so sure about. That did seem like a pretty sort of permanent death, just the way that it happened. So I think that's probably going to be permanent as well. But everybody else is probably coming back. But that could be the interesting thing. Is everybody that we see disintegrate at the end of the film going to come back, or is it just a select few here and there? And are they going to have to make some sort of sacrifice in order to bring those people back? Because one interesting theory I have heard is this idea that everybody that disintegrates is going to come back, and everybody that's left alive is going to die. Because you notice it's all the original Avengers that are left at the end of Infinity War. So Iron Man's going to die, Captain America's going to die, Thor's going to die, Hulk's going to die, Black Widow's going to die. Yeah, because they've all run their course. They've all been in quite a few MCU movies. Are they going to pass on the torch to the next generation of Marvel superheroes? And I actually really like that as an idea. I think it would be really cool to just see them move on to another set of superheroes. Probably not something they could do more than once. I don't think there are enough Marvel superheroes out there that they could keep just having a whole generation just disappear or die and then move on to a new set, or if you like every 10 years, I guess, But the only sort of slight gripe I would have with that is it would mean we would never get a Hulk film with Mark Ruffalo, which is a shame, really, because he's so good. I would go as far as to say he's better than Edward Norton. I've become so accustomed to watching him as the Hulk. It's easy to forget, he has not had his own film. The other sort of snag with this is, I don't know if this has been confirmed or anything, but according to the MCU Wiki, one of the other Phase 4 films that's already been announced is Black Widow is finally going to get her own film. Yay, about time. But, she's still alive at the end of Infinity War, so this theory that everybody that's alive is going to die in Avengers 4 is true, then this Black Widow movie would, I guess, have to take place before Avengers 4 or before Infinity War. Perhaps it will be an origin story, but I don't know, it would be a bit odd for Black Widow to die in Avengers 4 and then give her an origin story. That would seem kind of strange. And do we really want to see an origin story for Black Widow now? Because we've seen her in so many films now. It seems kind of unnecessary to give her an origin story. So I don't think that's what it's going to be. I think it's just going to be another film that takes place after Avengers 4. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure she's not going to die. Maybe some of the other Avengers will die and she'll just remain. To follow the complete logic through that everybody that's alive is going to die in Avengers 4, well, that would be half the world's population. So, in terms of the people that die, it wouldn't actually solve the problem in the sort of grand scheme of things. You can't really have a sort of happy ending if half the world's population is still dead. So I think people are just sort of talking about the Avengers when they bring that up. So is it just going to be a few of the people that are alive at the end of Infinity War are going to die, and maybe only a few of the people that die at the end of Infinity War are going to come back? Maybe some of them are going to stay dead, even though, we were all so sure they were coming back when we saw them die at the end of Infinity War. That could be an interesting sort of curveball they could throw us. Of course, the key thing is Doctor Strange, with him foreseeing the only way that they could possibly win, which I guess involves Iron Man remaining alive and Thanos having all the Infinity Stones. It seems odd that will be the only way that they could possibly win, but I guess that's going to be explained in the next film. A lot of people sort of ask the question, well, is Doctor Strange seeing past his own death, maybe? Maybe that's to try and sort of imply that maybe he isn't actually dead. Maybe nobody that disintegrates at the end of the film is actually dead. Maybe they've just gone somewhere else, some sort of parallel universe, maybe. Maybe that's where Black Widow's going to have her film. Of course, there's one other MCU film coming out this year, Ant-Man and the Wasp, which I guess is going to take place either before the events of Infinity War or during them. We might see at the end of that film if Ant-Man and the Wasp were among the superheroes that disintegrated. Be a bit of a spoiler for Infinity War if they did that, but I suppose they might do that. It could be an end credit scene. Of course, obviously they deliberately left them out of Infinity War because he has his own movie. That could be an interesting one to see. I'm guessing Captain Marvel was not among the superheroes that died at the end of Infinity War, and she's going to play some kind of role in defeating Thanos in Avengers 4. With little to no knowledge of the comic that this is based on, it's very difficult for me to sort of think through what is going to happen. But I do kind of get the impression that they are basically done with Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, because they've all had 3 films now. It doesn't look like they've got any plans to give them any more films. Those actors are probably pretty expensive at this point, because this MCU franchise has made them into big stars. The only way to really get rid of them from the entire franchise probably is to kill them off, and yet they don't die at the end of Infinity War. They are among the superheroes that remain alive. So that sort of says to me that there's going to be some kind of weird twist where people that die come back and people that didn't die will die. But it is a really sort of fascinating kind of idea they've got with this MCU. They've been doing over the last 10 years now. It's funny to think it's been over 10 years. Iron Man was actually now more than 10 years ago. And yet no studio as of yet has really been able to successfully replicate it. DC, quite logically I suppose, has attempted to do it themselves, but they've not really given it enough build-up. They had Superman, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. The second film, they tried to incorporate multiple superheroes from different sort of superhero franchises into one film. And then, of course, Wonder Woman was in that as well. And then they do the kind of thing that the MCU also does, which is they introduce Wonder Woman in somebody else's film, and then they give her her own film where they go back and give her an origin story. That was quite good. Not quite sure what to think of Wonder Woman. It's definitely the best of the DC films, but at the same time, it's does it just look good by comparison? I kind of wonder. If that was part of the MCU, it would probably just be one of the sort of middle-of-the-road films. Then Justice League was just sort of bland, nothingness, mindless action. And there's just not been really enough sort of setting up of previous superheroes. I just don't understand why they don't sort of see that the reason why the MCU worked was because they gave a decent amount of setting up to these superheroes before putting them all in one film. But here, the Flash's introduction is in Justice League, Cyborg's introduction is in Justice League, Aquaman, in fact, is barely even given an introduction in Justice League. Weird DC just don't seem to sort of understand it in the same way that Marvel do. It sort of had me wondering, though, are there any other sort of franchises out there that you could do this sort of thing with? Is there anything out there with a large enough ensemble cast of characters that, sort of intertwine, cross paths every now and then, that you could make individual character films and also an ensemble piece where they all get together? Game of Thrones is the only sort of thing I can think of off the top of my head that you could kind of do that with. But I don't think you could do that with the cast or the cast of characters that they have in the show. It would have to be something that takes place like either a long time before or a long time after the events of Game of Thrones, but just in Westeros suit. They probably are going to do that once Game of Thrones ends. They're going to try and turn it into some bigger franchise with, they're going to probably do this kind of thing that they're doing with Star Wars now, the Star Wars stories films that they're doing. They're going to do a Westeros story or a Game of Thrones story kind of thing. And they're going to have the origin story for Ned Stark, the origin story for Robert Baratheon, and maybe there's going to be some kind of story about what the White Walkers are up to beyond the wall or something. I'm really getting massively off topic here. There's probably a lot of people watching this that clicked on this expecting a lot of MCU talk, and now I've got to talking about Game of Thrones. A lot of you guys probably don't even watch it. So yeah, that is just what I kind of thought of the ending to Infinity War and what I think is going to happen in the future. So what do you guys think? Are they going to kill off the people that are actually left alive at the end of Infinity War? They're obviously going to bring back at least some of the people that died at the end of Infinity War. Are they going to bring them all back, or are they going to throw us a curveball and actually keep some of them dead? I kind of like that idea. Is it going to happen at the same time? It's going to be just a complete switch of alive and dead at the exact same moment, which means that when all those people disintegrated, that was still the last time that those that were disintegrating would see the people that were left alive. So that scene between Spider-Man and Tony Stark, that would still be the last time they saw each other. So that leaves some real sort of impact to that final scene. By the way, they stole a line from Doctor Who with that scene, with Peter going, "I don't want to go." That's the exact same thing the 10th Doctor said before he died. Or before he started regenerating, anyway. But yeah, that is that, and farewell. I don't want to go!